Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Thank you so much. There's a few more folks in the lobby who are on their way in to the hall. And we have a couple of special guests here tonight that I'm waiting to see come through the door. Thank you all very much for coming here tonight to the Wenham Museum for the kickoff of our 100th anniversary year or two. I feel like it's always good to celebrate these milestones. And we are so honored to start this evening here off with all of you tonight. My name is Kristen Noon. I'm the executive director of the museum, and I'd like to welcome all of you, our special guests, our board of trustees, and we also have an elected official with us tonight, Representative Balsito. And I believe she has a couple of things she would like to share with you all before we get started. So, Jamie? Yeah.
Here. Well, I feel like a kid. I'm having the best time tonight. Hello. You know, I must admit, since COVID, I've not been in here, and boy, have I missed out. And you have done a phenomenal job, and your staff has done a phenomenal job, and I didn't even know this room was here. This is so exciting. I know. I'm going to put on all the rainbow tulle and jump around, and this is just absolutely fabulous. In the community that is in Wenham, although she may be little, she's mighty, right? And that, I think, is exemplified here this evening as to who's here. And, oh, it's just gorgeous. And where is Leah? She's outside, I think. Oh, Lee, is it Lee? Sorry. I'm an Instagram follower, and now you're here. And I would love to talk to you offline. This is so exciting. So I hope everyone's having just a wonderful time. And again, I'm your state representative. There was some curiosity around Wenham's being split. Yes, Wenham's being split, but not till 2023. So I have been your state rep and will continue to be your state rep until January. And folks, a lot of folks didn't hear of Wenham before I came into the halls. But I'm always asking for money, so they try to give it to me. And I did ask for money for Wenham, but not this time, didn't we get it? But we'll continue to uplift the arts and culture that exist right here in this amazing community. And I'm so honored this evening to present a citation on behalf of the House of Representatives in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in recognition of 100 years. Can we let that sink in? Is that incredible? I think that deserves a round of applause. 100 years of celebrating childhood, interpreting history, and exploration of culture of all generations in the Greater North Shore community and beyond, providing thought-provoking learning experiences that connect the past, present, and future in a welcoming and inclusive environment. And I can't wait to come back with my family after this evening. You've just excelled in what you've put together here, and on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the House of Representatives. Thank you. It's my pleasure. And to the trustees and everyone here this evening, hats off. This is the special protective cover if you want it.
Okay. We will preserve this.
And I will leave,
So.
I'll leave this here
Thank
for
you.
you
I'm going to
as
give
well.
this to our board president.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Representative Balsito, and for stopping by here this evening. We really, truly appreciate the time you give to this institution. So I would also like to take a moment just to acknowledge our staff. The exhibition that's opening tonight is called Celebrating a Century, Our Stories and Yours. And we have been saying that this exhibit really is the best of all of us. And we don't just mean the staff and the volunteers, we mean the community as well. This exhibition really celebrates a century of community engagement and support with this institution. We have, under the leadership of our curator, Jane Bowers, arranged some of the best pieces in our collection who have the best stories. Some of them are beautiful, some of them are challenging, into 5 categories of children and family, citizenship, service and philanthropy, community, and justice. And I really urge you to spend some time really looking at the artifacts and reading the content that goes with them. This has been an exhibition a good year in the making with the wonderful support of all of our curatorial staff, including Rob Flanagan, our train curator, who is here tonight, Lindsay Jarrett, our costume curator, Samantha Grantham, our collections manager, and so many wonderful volunteers, some of whom are here, like Rosemary Waiwoda, who volunteers with collections, Jamie Tanzer, whose original research is in the exhibition. And in the service and philanthropy section, there's an entire listing of all of the folks that have helped preserve and care for so many of our objects over our long life. And we really encourage you to take a look at that because it really has taken a village to do this, and we greatly appreciate it. With this exhibition, and in a little while, with the exciting updates to our brand that we are going to reveal, we are really excited to be setting forth into this 100th anniversary year and into a new century where the North Shore meets the world and the past informs our future. With that in mind, it is my great pleasure to introduce our special guest, Lee Rutledge. In 2019, Lee left her career as an MIT-trained energy analyst and lecturer and turned her passion for the environment towards place-based textiles. Inspired by her beloved hometown of Wenham, where her family has lived for 5 generations, Lee's fabrics and wallpapers have been described as fresh, spontaneous, and nostalgic. It's my great pleasure to welcome Lee for her perspectives on this special place we call home. It's okay.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you for being here this evening to celebrate the museum's 100th year anniversary. I am honored to have been asked to speak, and I cannot imagine a more apt place to be standing as I recall all that has brought me back here tonight. A museum is the living memory of a town and of a community. And as I stand here with you all today to inaugurate the celebration of its 100th year, I would like to share with you my memories of this community, which form one small part of what this institution so graciously captures. My name is Lee Reynolds Rutledge. I was asked here because I not only grew up in Wenham, and my father before me, and his father before him, but because I credit this town, its land, and its people with a complete reinvention of my adult life and career. And as a result, the beauty of this town is now manifested in the work I do on a daily basis as a textile designer whose art is rooted in the image, history, and culture of Cape Ann. I grew up in the cottage on Larch Farm on Larch Row with my twin sister and my parents, Jim and Callie Reynolds. My father and his 5 siblings grew up across the field, and his cousins lived on a hill overlooking the farm. My great-great-uncle lived in the big house built in 1699 and bought in 1806 by Timothy Pickering, the Secretary of State, who transformed it into the rural country estate that it is today. Needless to say, my childhood in Wenham was an idyllic one. When my father was a boy, the farm was still a working dairy farm, and he would tell stories of dropping from tree branches onto the backs of the poor Guernsey cows. The cattle were gone by the time I was growing up there, but the pigs, named Wilbur and Charlotte, would still eat the heads off of my mother's tulips, and a pack of white geese roamed the property, an utterly terrifying gang to my sister and me. The formal garden, which was designed by Fletcher Steele, who studied under Olmsted, had an enormous raspberry wall at one end and a Concord grape arbor at the other. My sister and I would spend whole afternoons eating one or the other, depending on the season. At the end of each day, my sister and I walked diligently up to the big house with my father to have a cocktail hour of ginger ale and goldfish with my great-great-uncle Jim. Uncle Jim's black silk top hat and morning coat were recently on display here at the museum. I have no doubt that my choice of a career in environmental policy was motivated by my love of the land on the North Shore on Larch Farm. I stayed in the energy and environmental field for a decade, went to MIT for graduate work, launched my own consulting firm, and began teaching at the BU Business School, all the while focused on questions of preservation and conservation that grew out of my love of the farm on which I was raised. But after I had my second child, I realized that though I had pursued my career based on a deep love of land, I could not be farther from the natural rhythms of my childhood farm life. An old house that I knew well came up for sale on Larch Row, and my husband, who is from the Blue Hills of South Carolina, jumped in with 2 feet to my world in northeastern Massachusetts. In 2009, as Kristen said, I left my career as an energy analyst and lecturer and turned my passion for preservation into place-based textiles. What began as quick watercolor sketches while my children napped quickly turned into pattern repeats and textile designs. I remain enamored of the tangibility of textile art and its simultaneous aesthetic and practical use within a home. I now manufacture all my linens and wallpapers here in New England, and my collections are carried in a number of showrooms in the US as well as in Canada and Australia. If you look closely, you will see the hunting hounds that ride through our fields in the fall, the shells of our Cape Ann beaches, and even my dear neighbor, Winnie Gray, who's not here tonight, her barn and split rail fences. I suppose my textile work is an effort to both immortalize this beloved place and share it more broadly with the world. My designs stem from the same passion as my environmental career, and that is ultimately a love of place. My thesis in graduate school found that, in the simplest terms, the protection of a place one loves, particularly one's home, is one of the greatest motivators of environmental and historic preservation. According to landscape preservationist Elizabeth Barlow Rogers, we are still place-bound creatures, carrying in the recesses of our memories personal histories of spaces we have inhabited and imagined. And as British philosopher Roger Scruton noted, the motive that emerges with full persuasive force at both instinctive and personal levels is that of oikophilia, the love of home, a motive that comprehends all our deepest attachments and which spills out in the moral, aesthetic, and spiritual emotions that configure our world, creating in the midst of our emergencies a shelter that future generations may enjoy. The Wenham Museum, in which we stand tonight, devoted to the history, people, and culture of this land, is an institution of memory that preserves for the town and the community the values of place and home that Scruton and Roger just described. In telling my story today, I am sharing with you my own thread in the seamless garment that makes up the history of this town, and that this institution was founded to record and to share with future generations. It is my hope that in visiting this museum and in making it a living place, not just for learning about the past, but for also preserving what is best about the present moment, for those who will visit in the future, you too will see your own story and that of your family woven into the narrative of this place. I think Sir Roger Scruton was right that the love of home is among the most powerful of all human motivations. It has given me a grounding in my childhood, structured my choices of career, and brought me back once more to the same street on which I grew up. Wenham is a special community, and those who founded this museum knew it, including some of those who were members of my own family from generations past. As this wonderful institution embarks upon its second century, it is my hope that new generations, including now my 2 children, experience a love of land and place to the extent that I have, and carry that with them wherever the world takes them, knowing deep down that they can always come home again. Thank you. And as a gift of my textile collection, I chose my personal favorite. This is a trellis. This is inspired by an espaliered apple tree in the garden that I mentioned. So this is for the museum, and do with it what you would like. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen.
Wonderful. I will fold this up carefully.
Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you, Lee. We serve many children, as everyone knows, so washable is always a good thing, so thank you. I'm honored to accept that on behalf of the institution, and I thank you so much for coming here tonight to share your story with us. The narrative is absolutely continuing as the museum turns 100, and we're really excited to keep all of you as part of that story. As part of our next chapter, we are updating our brand, including our visual identity and our logo. And to speak to that this evening, I'm happy to welcome Kenan Anderson, the president of our Board of Trustees. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lee, for sharing with us your Wenham history and its impact on your life and work today. I'm Kenan Anderson. I'm president of the Wenham Museum's Board of Trustees. My greetings to each of you, and thank you for being here for this historic occasion, launching our 100th anniversary year and opening our newest exhibition, celebrating a century, our stories and yours. For 100 years, museum volunteers, staff, and community members have collected and preserved countless objects, textiles, and historic documents for future generations to learn and be inspired by our happiest moments, our biggest triumphs, and our moments of redemption. I hope that is evident in this exhibition. The Wenham Museum is a beloved North Shore institution that has delighted generations with its collections and programming. We are very excited to introduce our updated brand that is grounded in our 100-year history and looks to the future with excitement for what we have to offer families and their friends. In preparation for Wenham Museum's 100th anniversary, the Wenham Museum Board of Trustees hired Communications, Inc., a certified, women-owned strategic marketing agency to conduct a deep dive analysis of our membership and operations. This resulted in our new North Star, escape to an easy-to-access place with a singular focus on families, an engaging gathering spot where stories and educational experiences meet to explore the past and develop new skills, a nostalgic place to build connections around our New England heritage and history. The North Shore meets the world, and the past informs the future. Generations at play. Their findings are reflected in the new logo. Working with input from staff, board members, and donors, we are delighted to introduce our new visual identity. Ta-da! In alignment with the museum's Vision 2022, our new brand focuses on providing heritage experiences for visitors of all ages and interest in a child-centered, artifact-driven experience that leverages our local history. It's an exciting time. Why a new brand? While much has changed over the past 100 years, the desire to gather, play, and learn has remained compelling to all ages. However, our current logo did not reflect who we are today. Our collections have evolved, and we are excited to welcome the Patton Family Archives into our community. From a graphic perspective, the current logo was hard to scale for digital platforms and lacked relevancy for today's audiences. While the Board of Trustees considered a new name change, we believe our name properly represents who we are and where we are located. It also has significant name recognition and a positive reputation within our audiences. As a hands-on museum, the Wenham Museum is a transcendent place for all ages to play and be playful. Thus, the new icon is an interpretation of a whirligig. The whirligig is a colorful, simple, kinetic toy that has been built and enjoyed by children and adults for generations. Its simple, low-tech design is timeless and easy to master. The icon is a playful interpretation that is vibrant and energetic. With its colorful appearance, this new icon represents the ability that play has to connect us through history, imagination, sentimentality, and curiosity. The new tagline, Generations at Play, references the opportunity to create new memories grounded in play. It also shows us that we are never too old for play and for making generational memories. From tiny explorers to proud grandparents, the Wenham Museum has something for everyone. The color palette is a vibrant palette that is appealing to people of all ages and interests. It also breaks beyond gender stereotyping with happy colors that draw us in. While the new brand has changed, much has remained. The new brand remains tied to our culture and values. It relates to the old logo with the traditional typeface and red color while evoking more emotion and differentiating us from other cultural institutions. Best of all, we believe it will serve as a catalyst for new initiatives and re-energize our audiences. I hope you like it. Yay. Again, thank you to all of you for celebrating the launch of our 100th year this evening. Please come back to the museum during this special year and every year after to explore our latest exhibitions and to enjoy special programs and events. Thank you.
Thank you all. That concludes our program for this evening. We'd like to invite you to continue. We have another special guest. It's my pleasure to welcome Senator Bruce Tarr. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kristen. I apologize for the surprise. I came in under the radar screen, so I do apologize for that. But I don't apologize for being thrilled about being here on this incredibly special night for the Wenham Museum. And I was glad that I did get here and was kind of hiding in the back a little bit, Lee, to hear your incredible remarks. So thank you so much for that rendition of the experience in Wenham and why it's important. And I think it's so symbolic of why we're all here tonight, because we want to think about 100 years of this cherished institution that has enriched our lives so much, not only as folks that are in some way connected to Wenham, but also the story that gets to be shared for people outside the region, to think about what's special about where we live and our part of the world, and what's special about that in terms of childhood and play and the wonder of growing up in such a great place. And that's what the museum has always done. And, you know, while some of these things are all around us all the time, this museum operates in many ways like a prism that allows us to look at it in a highlighted way, maybe in just a bit of a different way, and in a way that integrates it with the rest of the stories of our lives. And so to have this museum operating for 100 years with the dedication and the care and the spirit and the passion of the people that have kept it going is truly something remarkable and truly something to be recognized. And I know over the coming year, with the new logo and the new story that's going to be told, we'll all get a chance to do that. And I want to offer my personal thanks, Kristen, to the Wenham Museum for its efforts to work with some of our charitable pursuits, reaching out beyond its core mission to be able to strengthen other things that we've been endeavoring with together. So I just want to say thank you to everyone and say what a wonderful thing it is to be here with you. And again, think about why it's important in lives that these days seem oftentimes overly complicated and difficult and challenged. And to think about there's something that beats in the heart of all of us that's never changed over those 100 years. And that is the joy and the wonder of childhood and exploring the world and finding the good things in the world and making them part of our lives and part of our life story. And this museum has helped us to do that, and I'm confident it will continue to do so. So while I would have liked to bring you a big check from the state tonight, I hope you'll settle for a citation. Sometimes when someone from the state comes with a citation, it's not a positive thing for a museum. But I hope you'll consider this different. And I hope you'll consider it a birthday card for myself and my colleagues in the Senate who very much want to wish the Wenham Museum a happy birthday and as you'll see in the verbiage of this citation, continued success in every possible way and in every possible endeavor. So, from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the State Senate, be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to the Wenham Museum in recognition of 100 years of celebrating childhood, interpreting history, and exploring culture for the enrichment of all generations of the greater North Shore community. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. Now, when it comes to that last line, postage is expensive, so I brought it myself. This is signed by our Senate President, Karen Spilka. It's attested to by our clerk, Michael Hurley, and I'm so proud to offer it on September 29th of 2022 to honor all of the great stewards in whose hands the history and the fate of this institution have rested, and particularly to recognize the very good and capable hands that it's in now that will set the stage for another incredible 100 years. Congratulations. Can we get the photo up? My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Without further ado, I believe that now concludes our formal program for this evening. And we encourage you all to please have some more refreshments, enjoy the galleries. If you have any questions about the exhibition, staff is, of course, happy to answer them. So thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you again soon.